Hey folks, this is Will. This video is going to be on checking bookings. The first thing you want to do when you're going to check bookings is sign in like you normally would in this area. And then from this area you go to reservation and you go to reservation search. This is the best place to do searches because once you open up a reservation, you can actually exit out of that reservation and come back to the list. If you were to go into the reservation screen and search for a reservation from the screen, once you went into the new reservation you would lose your list of reservations. So the best thing is to always start in this screen. So the first thing you want to do, if I was checking yesterday's bookings, I would look and I would say, okay, I want to check for the 17th of January 2011, and then put in the 17th of January 2011, and then I would want to put in the agent's name here. Since you don't have to look for all of the names, you just have to look for the ones that you're responsible for. You would put in here, so I would see and I would say, okay, if I'm going to want to look for Lucy's, I would say Lucy's is, her contour is Lucille F. And then just put it in search. So obviously for some of you who have some of the newer agents, you might only have one or two come up each day. Some of you have more experienced agents, you may have 3 or 4, 5, 6 a day, but it shouldn't be an exorbitant amount. But like I pointed out in my email, if you do get a huge amount, say up to like 10 or more, then speak to the person who covers you with checking the bookings. Speak to them and see if they have a ton, and see if maybe they can help you out. If they do also, then talk to Pauline and maybe we could figure out she can help you, or maybe one of the other SSA can help you cover yours. We want to try to get these done by like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, just in case we have to make any changes to the airfare. Siobhan has time, doesn't have to do it last minute. So this is the best way to check it. So then you have your results. You just double click on the name, on the reservation, and then you can see here, so it says start with the air, make sure the dates coincide with the land, make sure the connections are via the same airport. So March 18th, March 19th, JFK to Madrid, Florence, last date 26th, leaving on the 26th, Florence, Madrid, JFK. So I can see right there everything looks good. Arrival, departure, hotels, locations, okay, that matches. They're both arriving into Florence, so you can see they're staying at Montegaffoni, so that works. Now this is actually a good example of a late arrival. They're going to get in at 4 o'clock into Florence, so they're not going to make it till Montegaffoni till probably 5 o'clock, 5:30. So we would want to advise Montegaffoni of that, because that's going to be a late arrival. The customer should be made aware of that. This is something that you could probably ask the vacation specialist to notify the customer. There's not much that we're going to be able to ask them to do, because a lot of the stuff's going to come down to things you know how to do and they don't. But something like this, where maybe they just have to notify the customer, they can certainly do that. They can notify them, okay, you're arriving at 4 o'clock, you're going to get in, the front desk is going to be closed, and there will be a night watchman there that will bring them, to their room and let them get in, but there won't be the official welcoming like they normally would get if they were, within the hours of operation. And then they should, in the next morning, check and see if they're, go to the front desk in the morning once it opens and just kind of get all the information that the normal front desk receptionist would give them. So that's actually a good example. We'll make sure we notify Lucy of this. Early departure flights paired with 5-star properties. So obviously, if this was they were staying at Ashford Castle or something like that, leaving out of Shannon at 6:45 in the morning or 9 o'clock in the morning, this would be not ideal. But they're leaving from Montegaffoni to Florence, so 10:45. It's not terrible that they are leaving at 10:45. It is rather early. They're going to have to get there at 7:45 in the morning, but if they leave by 7, it's not the end of the world. With the villas, it's not as bad if they have to leave kind of early, but it's when they're staying that one night at a castle. That's where it's a problem. Early departure flights. Let's see, PAX name spelled correctly. The name spelling is going to be tough, but you can kind of just look and see, okay, Symington, it's all spelled the same. So at least you know the last name. If the first was correct, then the rest should be good. Margaret McFarland, John Santee, Emily Hay, Santee, McFarland. I will maybe ask. The McFarland looks a little suspicious, but it probably is correct. You could always, if you wanted to, shoot them an email and say, were you sure about this middle name? Number of passengers, make sure it's only up to 6 on a P&R. Obviously, that's something you can just look at and see here. They have 5. Infants on Delta flight must be paper ticket. Alert the document department. So there's no infants. So we don't have to worry about that. And then land, number of packs matches number of beds. Hotel bedding matches gender. If that was the case, you could just check it. You could change this stuff yourself and just send an advising, to the hotel saying, change from a double to a twin. Land-only bookings, make sure there's a land-only fee. Arrival and departure flight information in remarks. If there aren't, I would email the vacation specialist and say, did you get the flight information from the customer? And if not, ask them if they'll get that for you and add it to remarks. Of course, document the record that you have asked that particular vacation specialist to do this. Obviously, if it's something like they're not going to be in the next day or whatever, if there's a reason why they can't, then try to help them out. We're working together, but they should be able to, for the most part, do these types of things, call in to get information, simple information like flight details. Car, pickup locations, air schedule changes. The vendor involves date and drastic time change. Passengers traveling with a wheelchair. Car rental booking must show that one driver is within a legal driving age, 20 to 76. Let's see. Cars with VIP. You want to check and see if any of this stuff is in here. General information. Insurance booked is correct. This one doesn't have an insurance, but you want to make sure you'd see the insurance there, and you want to make sure that the date, do a select item and make sure that the date matches the airfare. Customer profile, there is a phone number in there. late bookings, invoice, which these are automated now, so I don't think you can just take a look anyways. But they'll go eventually regardless. We would prefer if they go right away, just in case there are name mistakes. The customer would have time to come back. Of course, inform Siobhan and Pauline if there are anything urgent, like air changes that need to be made. They need to be notified right away. And make sure direct passengers paid in full, travel agent bookings, air. If you see an amount, I would maybe even just run the numbers real quick and just say, okay, it's a travel agent. 35, 47, 45 plus $200 per person plus the insurance. Just calculate it real quick, just to double check. Should only take 2 seconds. And for the most part, that's checking a booking. Take your time, like I said in my email, and be gentle. You don't want to be you have to use tact when you're speaking to the vacation specialist. You don't want to yell at them. You don't want to act like they're in trouble. If they're in trouble, their manager will inform them they're in trouble. So this is not for you. This is just you're informing them. Okay, I noticed this. This is missing. Whatever the information is, can you please get this information for the booking? Or if there was something like a booked on the wrong date, you would say, okay, I just want to notify you that I did have to change the date on the land because the air and land did not match up. Or if there's a big gap, you would say, I just wanted to find out if you confirmed with the customer that they do have their own accommodations during that space between the last night of accommodations and the return flight. Be very gentle, and just everyone needs to be professional. If they take offense, then they take offense. But you're doing your job and trying to help them do their job better. All right, so that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.